Alright, howdy everyone. How's it going? I hope that this is on. Hope this is all working. I may have actually started it right once in my goddamn life, so... How's everyone doing? Howdy, howdy. It's very warm. Or, well, it's very warm here, but I don't do well in the heat, so... Hopefully it should go alright. Give people a couple of minutes to come in, but yeah, hope everyone's doing alright. More like Dark Smeldar, you got him. Absolutely destroyed. The Dark Eldar no longer are a faction. They have been absolutely demolished. Love the 2D avatar, thank you. Yes, it's a very simple thing that I put together. Much easier than trying to set up a camera. Actually, I have no idea what Drukhari does. We'll get into it. I'm going to start with doing Drukhari lists because they're the ones that I've kind of had more thought about. They're not how they used to be. Like, I've always kind of been a lot more of the melee focus for Drukhari, and I feel like they're going to be a lot more shooty now. Yeah, I saw Admech and League seemed to, and Death Guard seemed to not be great. Used oil washers yesterday first time. Nice. If you have any pictures and you want to share them on the Discord, please go ahead. There's a link to the Discord in the description of this stream. Favorite 40k VTuber? Are there any other 40k VTubers? That's the real question. I actually don't know. Yeah, Thousand Suns as well look quite good. If we get around to doing Thousand Suns, I would like to have a go at making one of them lists. Helber is being useful, and also Mutilith Vortex Beasts being pretty good. Yeah, it does feel like the it's a lot more shooting than melee now. At least for Drukhari, it seems for other armies as well. Like with the increased toughness and stuff. And yes, the Great Clean one was certainly a thing. That was somehow worse than the Unclean one. The Great Clean one. What I haven't looked up. Is it the Demonculaba or whatever it is? A lot of people made a comment. I haven't looked it up yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record a live reaction probably tomorrow at some point for a video and just be like, just to read that. So don't spoil it. But yeah, it looks horrendous. Apparently it's awful. I showed it to my fiance and she just went, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" All right, enjoy that one. But yeah, it seems to be the way things are. Hi, Lackman. Hi, Alvanos. Yeah, Witch's got a bit bullied in this one. I have a game on YouTube, I've been live for literally 5 minutes. Now would not be a good time to insert an ad. Are you mad? I barely started streaming. I mean, yeah, sure, this is longer than most of my content, but come on now. Do you really expect me to do a bloody ad every 5 minutes? Christ. I don't think 10th is going to be bad. I mean, to be honest, we don't know. We haven't played any. I haven't played any games yet. I'm going to be playing one on Monday. Age of Sigmar reskin. Well, I haven't played Age of Sigmar, so I don't know. I mean, it looks fine, to be honest. I think it looks fine, but we'll see when we play. Beer and pizza, nice. So yeah, we're gonna no war gear points is interesting. Like I kind of like it, mostly just because more guns are cool. There is some weird stuff though, like it says Kronos can take the Spirit Vortex or whatever. Well, why wouldn't they? Like, just make that part of the base thing. You know what I mean? But anyway, I've got this page. It's a variety of different screens, so hopefully this all goes okay. I did buy the Leviathan box, yes. Hopefully that will arrive at the right time. And I think there is an app now, or there is going to be an app from Games Workshop. I don't know if you've seen it. I'm gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way, with notepads and spreadsheets to make a list. So what I thought we'd do is we kind of go through and think about a Drukhari list, make a Drukhari list. I've got the points up here. I've got chat. I've got, so we can type our thoughts in here and our ideas. I'm gonna kind of go with two lists. One list is going to be like the dream list that I would really like. The other, then I'm going to try and make a list based on what I've already got. So, for example, it would be lovely to have 3 Ravagers, but I only have 1 at the moment. Yeah, free raw gear. Gonna get 2 of each gun with Retributors now? Oh, that's interesting. You need to buy 2 boxes per squad for 1. Yeah, I think a lot of it is to do with the boxes, right? It's like the Drukhari now for the Cabalites. It's a lot of you get 1 of each gun, but there's a weird thing you can do which I really like. We'll get into that. I'll play all the codexes are out. So the codexes are interesting as well, right? Because they're going to be detachments. I imagine they'll make like a witch cult detachment and there'll probably be a Cabal, a Witch Cult, and a Coven for Drukhari. But again, they're not coming out for a couple of years, so I mean, I think it's going to streamline list building because, and especially with the way the points are, like we can make lists pretty quickly now. You really don't need an app, yeah. Yeah, I guess it's like it's not quote unquote. It's free in the terms that it's the points that they are worth are now, part of that. I mean, there's a couple of ones that for Drukhari especially, which are mad. Kronos' at 50 points seem ridiculous. They just seem mental at that price. Hellions seem too expensive. And Ravagers are absurd at 95 points for 3 Dark Lances. It's obscene, I think. And then Witches being 110 but having no special weapons. I think Witches are probably the worst off here. Racks are interesting because you can take 1 of each gun in a group of 5. Which is interesting as well. So, and some of the rack weapons are really good, so I can see racks being fine point-wise. Witches I'm not so sure on. Raiders have down a few points because you used to have to buy the Dark Lance. Obviously, I think Drazar going down in points with Incubi, so I can still see taking him. But yeah, so let's have a look. So I've got all the things here. I think, how do I want to do this? I have a kind of an idea for a list. So the idea is essentially you go with 1 Archon. And then you're going to need a lot of Cabalizer. So the way that I'm thinking is you do two lots of 10 Cabalites. With all the trimmings, right? So you get all 4 special weapons at a Cyberite, and then 5 of the others. And then you get 2 Venoms. I only have 1 Venom. I only own 1 Venom currently. But this is like the list of, what I would love. 2 Venoms because of the rule. Nice. This is it. I get this alphabetical, but also having all of like the stuff just randomly in different places is very weird. Venoms. Here you go. So, not so much for the athletic area lists, right? It's kind of a weird rule because we're not really that melee focused. I mean, I could see taking a Venom for like 5 Incubi and Drazar maybe, but it's a bit weird. Or maybe for like a court. But it's this bit here. So you could split. For each Venom, you split Cabalites and Witches. Units split into 2. Equal number of models. Make a note of which models are in each. And then one of these units must start in the transport. The other can start anywhere. So 2 times 10 Cabalites. You got 4 weapons in there with a Cyberite. You take all 4 weapons. You put the 5 with just the splinter rifles into Venoms, and the other 5, that's essentially 8 special weapons you put in a Raider. And then the power from pain works on just the Raider, right? I don't know what the Archon's doing in this situation. That's the problem. So the Archon is in a really weird spot where his aura doesn't count whilst he's in the Raider, because it's not the units he's in. It's in, you know, your power from painting the Raider, so you're not getting the benefit from his buff. So he would need so there's a thought here of doing another 10 unit of Cabalites with a core and having a big block of 15. And then your other option is maybe that you have, I don't know where the other option would come in, but there's a way to kind of split 5 and putting a court in there. So I think this is kind of a good starting point. You'd probably put the Archon with one of these 2 groups of 5, just so when they jump out, they have a bit more. And then you have your 2 Venoms can go around, because the Cabalites can take objectives and keep them sticky in a transport. So that's kind of like one section. Power of pain will give rerolls to all weapons of the unit inside the Raider as a firing deck counts as the transport. Yeah. That's the thing. So a power from pain token on the Raider is really, really good in this situation, right? Because you only need to power from pain up the Raider. The issue is the Archon gives its buff to the unit it's in, which isn't the Raider. Also, the other thing is the Raiders are aren't tagged with anything. Vehicle transport, dedicated transport, fly, Eldari Raider. But the Ravager is Cabal, so they can use that Cabal stratagem. What is get Cabalites plus Archon out, power from pain, then shoot, then get back into the Venom. To get back into the Venom, it'd have to be the end of the fight phase, which you could do if you're out of range, right? Yeah, because if it's in engagement range, you can't do it, right? So yeah, that is a way of doing it. So I think with so how many points is that? So the Archon's 85. 2 lots of 10, I believe. There, I need to move stuff around, but it should be static on the screen. Okay, so they're going to be 240. 2 Venoms are 160, and then a Raider is 90 points. So quick math in my head, that's 250, 450, 490, 575. Very, very quick math. I'm gonna go for 2,000 points here. I mean, that's a lot of shooting, right? So you got essentially, so the Raider will have its Dark Lance, plus the Cabalites will have, from the two squads, you got 2 more Dark Lances, 2 Blasters, 2 Shredders, and 2 Splinter Cannons. You've got 2 Venoms can fly around do objectives for you, and also a little bit of anti-infantry fire. And the Archon's there. The issue with the Archon is the Archon needs to be on the board for his other special ability, right? Yeah, so while it's leading a unit, they get rerolls on 1, okay? And then was a battle, if your model is on the battlefield, you say, if is it, does he count as being on the battlefield if he's in a transport? I don't know. And the other thing is this one here, in your command point you get a pain token if it's on the battlefield, so it might have to give it to someone else. Hi Wrath and Ruin. Hi Marvel Studios, although I assume that's not the real Marvel Studios. So the other option here is you put the Archon in a core of the Archon, right? Because there's still some good stuff in here. I feel like you do want this as part of Cabalites. So, I mean, there's 2 options here. Either you do a court, or a court plus 10 more Cabalites, right? The court, I think, is 95? Yeah. So it's 95 or what's that? 120 plus 95 is 100 and 215. That sucks to hear. Sorry to hear about that. Marvel Studios. So they're the two options there. I think it doesn't count on the battlefield. They should have a special rule for you. So you might put the Archon in one of these two things. Then I think the other thing I was looking at was, I mean, Lilith with a squad of 10. Lilith with a squad of 10 witches, I think, is a no-brainer. Just because of how strong Lilith really is. And I think because, yeah, so a Ravager is 90 points. I don't see a world where you don't take 3. I don't have 3. I'm allowed to call it a stick tuber instead of VTuber. Apparently, it's like the thing is a PNG tuber because it literally is just images. So you can call me a stick tuber. That's fine. Ravagers. So what's that? 90 times 3 is 270, right? No, they're 95 each. So 270 plus 15 is 285. Yeah, Archon's not. It's already happened. Archon's not being able to run with Incubi is very weird because apparently, I guess the fluff is that they are kind of the guards of Archons, right? Not sure I feel about lock squad size. That, yeah, I mean, I'm all right with it. I mean, most of the time, I think people were only really taking like 6 of something, so like, you know, 6 racks or something, or 6 incubi, just for those missions, because it needs to be more than 5. So assuming things are now 5, you know, between, it's either 5 or 10. If there's not that 5 or 6, you know, distinction, I think it's not too bad. Some of the reductions are a bit, I mean, I don't think there's any for Drukhari that I would be upset about. The only time I've run anything more than 10, or even more than 5, I ran 20 Hellions. And that was just a pain in the ass to play, to be honest. So I think Lilith plus 10 witches. Because what's that? It's 110 plus Lilith is 105? That's 215 there as well. Yeah, hi Harry, come join the Discord. We've got stuff going on there. I'm not looking at it right now because I'm streaming, but got a lot of people sharing there what they're working on. It's really cool. So yeah, so I like this combo here, either with a core or not. At least 2 Ravagers, if not 3, I feel is very good. Scourges as well can fit in here. I mean, a group of 5 Scourges is 120, which is insanely cheap, I think. Yeah, either Scourges with Dark Lances, Scourges with Heat Lances as well. I'm still okay. I still think they're pretty good with Shredders, because you could put them somewhere and have them be an Overwatch threat. I think I'm getting quite a lot of dark, because the other thing, yeah, to add to this, 1 times 6 Reavers as well. Got to get the Reavers in there. 6 Reavers is 150. And again, with 2 Heat Lances and Reavers, the Reavers are very scary. And maybe 1 times 5 Hellions. Hellions are interesting. I think they're still okay, but they are, I mean, you kind of see the price here. Like 110 for 5 is quite a lot. And I don't know how good that is. How many points we got so far? 575. Let's say we just take the court. Becomes 580, 670, 670, 770, 780, 880, 930, 1030, 1050, 12, 65, 1270. I may have, what else was it? 1270, 1450, like 16. I had it in my head. I was doing the mental maths and then I lost it. I also realized now that my me is kind of in the way of what we're doing. Yeah. There's already a good place for me, so let's just put it down here-ish. There you go. Flying around the screen. Zooming. Let me get a calculator out, just so I don't mess up the maths. So let's say it's just a court, rather than with another 10 Cabalites. That's pretty close. So that's 1550. Yeah, how much are... So, yeah, Labyrinth Cunning's 30. Which I think was the free CP one, wasn't it? Or was it the other one? Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Yeah, so that's basically... So this works if I get a homunculus in there, which I might. If I get a homunculus, then Labyrinth and Cunning makes a lot of sense on the Archon. Otherwise, Art of Pain seems pretty good. Hi, Evan. Hi, Mr. Sharpspoon. Yeah, we're on 550. I feel like you take 3 Kronos. Well, maybe 2 Kronoses, 3 or 2 or 3 Kronoses. What about some grotesques? There is potential for grotesques. How many grotesques? How many grotesques? So 6 is 210. So look at grotesques. This is the other one, right? Where it's like, so it used to be that liquid fire gun was instead of like either the monstrous weapons or something. So each model is equipped with monstrous weapons. Any number of models can be equipped with a liquid fire gun. But if anything's free, then don't bother. Yeah, both are very good. I think if I don't take Lilith as well, I think if you take a Succubus on their own, and they are... How many Succubus? Succubus is 70, plus Blood Dancer is 90. I think you have to take Blood Dancer for a Succubus to be worth it, otherwise Lilith is just too good, and therefore you don't have to spend the CP, or spend the points for it. I think, yeah, both of those two things, Art of Pain and Labyrinth and Cunning, is very, very good. Yeah, the grotesque things is really weird, because obviously it says all models equipped with monstrous weapon, they can be equipped with a liquid gun. But there's no... But it's free war gear, so you will always take a liquefier gun, even if you don't use it. When it's a perfectly reasonable weapon, it's just, you know, it's a flamer weapon. And they have a pretty beefy... They're pretty beefy here. I just think that... How much are you getting? For 210, was it? 200? No. Where are we at? 210, yeah. I don't know, for 210 it seems a bit expensive. I've noticed actually Scourges are... For 5, it's 120 for 5, but 200 for 10, because obviously they don't get special weapons, so they've actually factored it in there. Which is interesting. So, yeah, the one thing I would want here as well is a homunculus. Yeah, and Cronoses and Taluses I think are very, very good. I would lean towards Cronoses myself. So I think the Cronoses... Again, this is another weird one. You can have a Spirit Vortex for each of them. Well, why wouldn't you? Like, that's a no-brainer having a Spirit Vortex because they're free. So it's basically 2d6-ish shots here. But they're basically batteries. I reckon you could take 2 and cover a decent amount. I think Epic Heroes aren't allowed enhancements. I think that's a rule. What difference between Kronos and Talos? Kronoses are like your kind of spirity ones, which basically Pain Parasites kind of describes pretty well. They do some damage, and then the Taloses are a lot more shooty. So the Taloses do a lot of the weapon, like the guns. You get a charge with Talos or Kronos. Probably, I think you kind of keep the Kronoses back. They've got a bit of Overwatch support, and then you can just leave them to be generating you power from pain points. I think the things you're going to charge in are obviously Lilith. You probably won't charge in the Reavers. The Hellions. This is why I kind of want more Hellions. Talos, I think if I took Talos, I'd probably go more anti. I don't know. Yeah, so named characters have in ninth named characters have warlord traits, but they had to be a specific one, right? You couldn't have they like said you have to take this one. Like like Magnus had 3 he could take. Another way to deliver the wishes, possibly. Yeah. Yeah, I think because they've simplified the enhancements, I think they've made it so that named characters don't get them. I guess I think they probably just if I have a look at Lilith, I think it's probably the closest. Some of this stuff here, like Thrilling Spectacle and Brides of Death, are kind of the stuff that's been baked in as part of what would have been their enhancement if you took it. Yeah, I just think Lilith is very, very strong. Sustained hits 2 and then anti-infantry 2 just seems absurd. I mean, it's only 1 damage, but it does seem very strong for blendering, that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe another raider maybe for this. Would add another 90 points. This is one thing. I was kind of playing about with some lists earlier. The one thing I did kind of fall into is I wasn't actually getting that many. Let's put the Kronos in there for 100. And the fact that they're 100, and I'd probably actually do a 2 times 1 Kronoses. I probably would have 2 groups of 1. Yeah, then Art Pain or Homunculus. Yeah, we need a Homunculus in here. But I think are pretty cheap. They're 70, I think. 75. And then I'd probably take 5 racks, maybe even 10. Let's go 5. This formatting is awful. For 65 with all the trimmings as well, because yeah, even with the racks. That's why I don't know why they took away the weapons from the witches, because the racks get to keep everything. Yeah, you can have basically 1 of each of these. I don't know if you would take the Stinger pistol. I guess you would, right? And yeah, because they're all additional. They're not instead of your rack blades. Of course, you take all of them. Hex rifle seems very cool. I mean, that's just a nice flamer. Devastating wound anti-infantry, just more anti-infantry here. And then yeah, Stinger pistol, just again anti-infantry, just a little bit of extra damage. I feel like you might even take 10, because it's for every 5 units, so you can have 8 weapons. Which seems pretty mental. I don't know why you have an Akathist and 9 racks, because they don't have any differences anymore, right? Because the Akathist can't do anything. So I guess that's maybe for future stuff. Yeah, they have the 6 up invuln. They have a 4 up Feel No Pain with a Homunculus, which is really, really good. I mean, they're toughness 4. I mean, they're yeah. I can see you taking 10, to be honest, and that's what 130. And then maybe you just want 1 extra raider just to start ferrying stuff around. Let's take that out just so we keep this cleaner. Yeah, obviously you take the blast pistol and the phantasm grenade launcher, but again, the phantasm grenade launcher really doesn't do much. Yeah, your other option is Uri and Rakarth, but I think just a regular homunculus is fine. Yeah, and the scourges you can do quite a lot with. You can either go with shredders or with heat lances are good. Dark Lancers are good if you want some more like ranged snipe. I think with 3 Ravagers, which already has 9 Dark Lances, plus your 10, 11, 12 Dark Lances up here. You have 3 encounters with characters tonight, yeah. I have 3 total. Yeah, never. That's the thing. I don't think there's ever enough. Like, you could have all your Scourges come with Dart Lances. And you've got 2 Heat Lances on the Reavers. You want to maybe put a Talus in there for a Haywire Blaster. How many points are we at the moment? So we were at 1. Oh, I'm running out of battery. The calculator is taking too much. What did we add since then? I think we added the Kronos. We added the Homunculus, and we added the... So we've got 145 points to play with. So we wanted to add... we want Path and Pain, and we want Labyrinth Incoming. So that gives us 90 points. So Labyrinth Incoming, and there you want Art of Pain. Ups you to 115? No. Yeah, 115. And you go up to a clean 100. The disintegrators of Atlantis could be worth of anti-elite infantry shooting. That's very true. You could have, yeah, you could have 1 or 2 of these Ravagers going D cannons. So I think they're still pretty good. So this gives us 90 points to play with here. I like the comments on the Ice Drive video. The bloody, yeah. The fact that there was a divide, like almost a 50-50 divide between like people going, oh, they're just servitors, and then the other people going, servitors are horrible, and the way that they're made is horrible. So people were like, just servitors, but the way you get servitors is nasty. So yeah, 90 points is odd. You could, yeah, I think that's where you just add the other raider actually. So you just get 1 more raider in there. 90 points, and that's 2,000 points. So that's list 1. Maybe. So how much is Talos? Taluses are 90. So yeah, it could either be a raider or a Talos here. 1 raider or 1 Talos. I think so. The raider helps get stuff around the board. You may even... Your other option is... Yeah, you can't save enough points to make a Hellion double slotted, right? What's my favorite food? I think I was about to answer that question and then immediately moved on to another comment because I can't even... I don't know. I like cheesecake. I hate cheese, but I like cheesecake. And I like sushi. I don't think it's if you as long as something's in the transport. I don't think you have to fill the transport. Yeah, as far as I know, there's no list building tools as of yet. But I mean, like someone's mentioned, it's quite a simplified system, so it's not too bad. While building an admech army, nice. Yeah, I know in 9th they changed it, so yeah, you have to have something in the transport. You can't just have empty transports. The other thing to consider here as well is a lot of this stuff can deep strike. Like all the transports can deep strike now, which is interesting. So that's the list. That's essentially the list of, like, that's a list I would want to run. Not taking Drazar feels very odd. I don't know if I like not taking Drazar. But now let's think about a list where of what I actually own. So if I take this list, what can I actually run? So basically it would have to be like that. I don't have a homunculus, but I can make one. I don't have Lilith, so I would have to just have a succubus here. And maybe you'd pay, and maybe I'd then pay for Blood Dancer. So what's the difference there? Succubus with Blood Dancer is 90, Lilith is 105, so it's 15 points less. So actually it's a clean 2,000. I don't have that many Ravagers, I can tell you that for free. To be fair, I probably can. I have like a 32-inch base thing I could use for Lilith, but I kind of want to go for at least reasonably similar. I don't have 3 Ravagers. I have a lot of Raiders, and I could proxy them for a while. I have 2 Ravagers. Well, I have 1 Ravager and 1 I can make, so let's reduce that down. I think that would make that 190, wouldn't it? I have a court, or at least I can make up a court. I don't have 2 Venoms. That's the biggest issue with this list. We're gonna have to rethink this part. This part requires 2 Venoms, and I just don't have 2 Venoms. Yeah, I think Death Guard apparently didn't come out well, but I think the thing is, there's a lot of interesting list building. I was thinking about this for Thousand Suns. I was speaking to Steve earlier, where rather than kind of having a bunch of units which you want to keep near your HQs, each of your units becomes fairly specialized based on what HQ you put in there. With Drukhari, there isn't really much of that because it's literally just you plonk whatever into it. But with something like Thousand Suns, where you have a lot of different options of different sorcerers you can put in there, and Necrons as well is a similar situation, like that man says. Necrons seem very cool. Drukhari have re-embark. Yeah, so the Venoms do. You can re-embark in a Venom at the end of the opponent's fight phase. So I think with what I currently own, I think I'm gonna have to be very selective. I might do this. Not take any Venoms for now. We might change that. Where we have a... No, actually take 1 Venom. Here's my thought here. Because I do own 1 Venom. And that was what, 80? So you can the way I think it works is you can split the unit, then you add stuff to it. So you'd have the 5 Cabalites with the Splinter Rifles going in the Venom. Then you have an Archon, the Court, and 4 special weapons, and the Cyberite go together in a Raider. Would you even put them in a Raider? Would you want them out on the field for the extra bonuses? I guess they could start in a Raider and then jump out later, right? I can proxy a Ravager, or I can try and make the other Ravager. That's fine. That's fine. I'd then probably go... I want to try 10 Hellions. Maybe in 2 lots of 5 instead. That might be a bit better. I want to give that a go. I still probably have 2 Cronoses, the Rax, the Raider. So what are we looking at there? In terms of points. That'll be 1 plus... that's not 240, that'll be 120. 120 plus the Court, which is 95, plus the Raider, which is 90, plus 80 for the Venom. 90. 200. 100 plus 100 plus 130. So that still gives us 290 points to play with, which seems pretty good. Maybe I want this list to be a list I'm going to actually play on Monday, so it might not be the most powerful list, but there's a couple of things I might add in here to try. So the biggest thing here is going to be a Drazar plus. So Drazar is 105. So 190 for 5 Incubi is... That's 190 I just said. Which leaves me with 100 points. And that's where you could add a... oh, I don't have a Talos. Yeah, Hellions moving forward early because you can use the stratagem on them to advance and charge. Very good. I just want to check with Hellions. Yeah, so their assault weapons as well. I think their splinter pods are really good. I think people might be sleeping on them. Put leader in first, then split. Ah, interesting. I think that's still fine. Yeah, I'd have to check the ruling. So what is... I had many different thoughts going on. Let's do one thing at a time. Hellions, I think, are being slept on a little bit. I think this profile... So it's sustained hits. You can if you give them power from pain, they can reroll hits. They're going to be winning on 4s against Space Marines, which is probably what you throw them, and they'd kill them. But there's only -1 AP, but there's stuff you can do about that, isn't there? And then the fact that they have anti-infantry on their shots as well, so 20 shots, assault twin linked. I think they're pretty good. You also have the Heliarch weapon, which is anti-infantry, and has 5 attacks. It's only 1 damage though. I think Hellions are actually pretty nice. Reavers as well, I think, are really cool. I could have 2. So I can't. I could have 2 more Chronoses, but I can't because I don't own that many. I only own 3. I own 3 Chronoses. They are magnetized with the Chronos parts. I haven't magnetized the Talos parts, so I could make a Talos. What are we talking about? Court. Yeah, so declare battle formation step. And the Venom, I believe, is also declare. At the start of the declare battle formation step. Does the court say at the start? Because that's the distinction, right? In the declare battle formation step, the Archon joins the Cabalites with an Archon in it. At the start of the declare battle formation step, that's where you split. Do you have the same offer? Yes, I still have the same. The only thing I've added Blood Dancer here, but these should still be the same in this list. Can't have any Warriors and Witches and Venoms. You can. You just have to split them. The rule is you can split them, right? No Corsairs. Yeah, I could. Maybe. Corsairs are weird because they can't be led by anything. At least in this thing. Yeah, most units specialize get infantry and elite. I think again there's a lot of anti-tank here. I think maybe in this list you could probably say the Scourges can take Haywire Blasters for a bit of specific anti-vehicle. Yeah, so for this you split the people in the Venom at the start of the declare battle formation, then you add a court. I don't know what it says about, because it's in the core rules. I don't know what it says specifically about when you add your HQs. If it says at the start, then it kind of it's one or the other. If it says at any time, then you would split them, add your Archon, add your court. And I think that's probably fine. And you can either ride them around a raider or not. Then you have a second raider for either the witches, or you could put your racks in there. We could put Drukhari. Yeah, the thing is, if you have Drukhari with 5 incubi, you kind of need a way to move them around. Yeah, 5 incubi. Yeah, you could put the 5 incubi and have him in a raider. That would work. Because, yeah, 5 more incubi would add another 85 points, and there's 15 points left over. Which is going to upset me. But I think we might have to deal with it. Your other option is, what's 100 points? The problem is there's not a whole lot of stuff for 100 points. Chronoses are 100, but then you have to get 2 of them. The Talos is worth 90, and you're left with 10. You could also maybe reduce these back down to just a group of 5. That gives you then that gives you 210 points, which is 6 grotesques. So your other option is drop Hellions down, get 2 grotesques, or then actually the thing's 105. You got quite a few of those options. What else could you do? You could drop a raider as well, right? Swap yeah, actually, you could swap. Like Christopher, can you hear him? You could swap a raider for 5 more incubi, and then add another ravager. No, it's the other way around. 105. Add 3 grotesques. Actually, you don't have many vehicles at that point, which is interesting. You'd have a raider, which you'd probably put Drukhari the incubi in. So this is what it would look like. So you'd add another 85 points here, which would be 275. No. Yeah, no, 275. Yeah. You take a raider out. Wait, 110 or 105? 105. So if my maths is correct, that should be 2,000 points. Yeah, one of each agent now. You can't run multiple Slith, which is great because I built one Slith, got bored and didn't build the rest, so I don't have to build them anymore. So I got away with that one, which is good for me, but probably not good for anyone else. Just doing some not in my head maths because I'm too dumb. No, I'm very dumb. I've somehow I'm 90 points over. How have I done that? Am I the big dumb? I'm my mental maths is bad. I'm stop telling me it's a good time. Play ads. I don't need more money. I just want to chat with people. Yeah, I'm 90 points over here, so maybe the grotesque is a mistake. Yeah, I wanted to use an Excel spreadsheet, but I couldn't be bothered. I feel like this is probably easier. Yeah, thanks, Alpha. Yeah, yeah, ADHD is fun. It's certainly interesting to try and work around. I mean, I'm medicated, so it helps a lot. Yeah, I think you drop the grotesques. That puts you at, well, it puts us back in the same place before. So clearly, the extra I obviously added, but even before the incubi, I was over the limit. So yeah, I can't drop just the incubi. I could drop another and just have no raiders, which is just seems like a terrible idea. I could drop a ravager. I drop a ravager because it saves me having to build another one. That puts me it puts it 1995, which is fine. And it gives me so this is a good list for but the Arcana Court are added before the split. I don't think it is because the split says at the start of I'm gonna have to look this up because I think this is a very important distinction of how this plan works. So the thing with the Venom, because of the rules, it says at the start of the declare battle formation step, right? Yeah, I have to keep the Raider, so I don't want to drop the Raider. I think dropping a Ravager, I think, is better here. I think without the extra Ravager, it basically means that the Scourges are forced to pay Dark Lancers, which I think is fine. In the top list, I think you could get away with the Scourges taking anything. In the bottom list, the Scourges have to take Dark Lancers. Or Haywire Blasters, I guess, for the vehicles. But the other thing is it means I don't have to either build or proxy a Ravager, seeing as I need to play for Monday, so... Yeah, let's look at the core rules, because this is the most important distinction, is whether you have to join the Archon at the start. Because I don't know if it says. Yeah, bear in mind as well, I think for this list at the bottom, some of it is it's not going to be fully, obviously it's based on what I own, and it's also, I think I like the list at the bottom because it's a very wide range of things. I'm gonna get hopefully some time to play with the Succubus, see how Drazar plays, see how some Grotesques play. You know, only one Raider I think is the weirdest thing. Like, who goes in the Raider? Would it be? I think the Court, the Cabalites, and the Archon need to stay on foot, but then they're kind of out in the open, and you have to really pick your shots with them. So yeah, it'll be very interesting. Right. Yes, where are the contents? And why is this so horrendously slow? Okay, mission, mustering your army missions, probably near the bottom somewhere. Racks, I have 10 racks in there already. I could add more. That's like terrain and stuff. I'm on my phone looking at the old rules. Mustering an army, here we go. Right. Here we go. Declare battle formations. In the order started below, both players now secretly note down which of their leader units will start the battle attached, which of the units will start the battle within transports, which of the units start and retreat reserves. When both players are done, they declare their selection to their opponent. So, yeah, page 57, yeah. So, I think racks are going to be very good because you get so many weapons with them. So the Venom says at the start of the declared battle formation step. So that happens first, and then you do the rest of it, which includes the leader stuff. So I actually think, yeah, I think you get away with this. So the plan would basically be that the Archon, so you'd split your Cabalites, the 5 with just the Splinter Rifles go into Venom and can go around and do some objective snatching. The other 5 with the special weapons and the Court with the Archon, you hide somewhere. I'd like them to be in a Raider, but I can't. I think you could put them in a Raider, but then you lose some of the other stuff, right? Like if they're in a Raider, they don't get all of the Court fancy stuff, and you start kind of taking out the Court, right, as stuff gets blown up, because these will have, you know, you don't get lethal hits, which is really good. Subtracting 1 from the wound roll, you get fights first, which is not brilliant, but I feel like this is very good. You have 1 Ravager, I'd like more, but it's fine. I think because you can use the stratagem, I reckon you probably have the Hellions and the Succubus with the Witches kind of as counterpunch. Like if stuff gets too close, you charge them in and destroy them. You have 2 Chronoses kind of dotted around, moving independently to try and get some power from paying back. So you basically move them where you're going to use it, right? One will probably stick around with the big Court. The other one would go with whoever's going up front. You'd have your Homunculus and your racks. Probably, again, move. It's probably similar to the Archon and the Court, right? The Raider probably contains Drazar and the 10 Incubi. Maybe even Deep Strike that. Maybe not. Maybe keep that on the board, but I basically have that again as like a counterpunch thing. And then 3 Grotesques just as, again, a bit of meat. So what were they doing? Yeah, they're just kind of running up the board, right? They can't. The Homunculus doesn't really give them anything. Yeah, so models that you never feel on pain, but you can only do racks, and then on enemy units within 6 inches of this model. So I think that's pretty good. Which actually means that Death Guard Hellroot is now 40 more points. Yeah, the Hellroot for 1,000 Suns also went up quite a lot. You also have heroic intervention counter charges, it's very true. And I think with you've got a little bit of stuff for Overwatch. I think that's the one thing you have to be careful of is Overwatch happens at any time. Yeah, it's something you just kind of throw in to get some tanks, right? Hi Sigismund, how's it going? The 1995 points is going to upset me, but I'll have to deal with that. I think it's fine. It'd be interesting to see how Drazar plus 10 Incubi go. So obviously you'd only get one Demiclave, but that's whatever. You kind of want to make sure that everyone's having +1 to the wound roll. And I think Drazar's still pretty good. Devastating wounds, 3 damage. He can get precision. I think he can snipe out a character pretty well. My pineapple, nice. Yeah, that's true. When I was making some Age of Sigmar lists, there was a lot of lists that ended up not at 2000. It was very upsetting. So yeah, so I think top list here is my kind of dream list. I'm pretty close to it, to be fair. I just need to get Lilith, a couple of Ravagers, and a Venom. I think having extra Venoms in this meta is good, or in 10th is going to be super useful. Even just for splitting up shenanigans. I like the idea of a gunboat. I think I might need to make a extra Cabalite. So think I have the rest of them. And then I've got a court. Got the Ravager. Only having one Raider is really weird. I usually take 3 or 4. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see if I can make it work. What's the reason having Hellions? I think Hellions are really good. One, because I like the way they look. But in this list up here, you could probably maybe think about taking them out, but I just think they're quite good. I think the 2 damage is what's going to set them apart. I know it's only AP -1, but you know they can shoot, declare a charge where they fall back, and they've got quite a lot of good stuff. I think they're just kind of decent. Yeah, I've heard in Age of Sigmar you get something. I can't remember what it was. It's like you get priority or something, or you get to do something special. The other reason to take at least Hellions here is just to try them. I kind of want to see this list is basically made up of stuff that I have ready, plus kind of giving everything in it a little bit of a go. I've never used Mandrakes, but they might be again something to think about. I would need to make them. I've got the box for them. Yeah, I think it's just the fact that they're so if you have 5 of them or 10 of them, that's 30 attacks, hitting on 3s, potentially re-rolling. Sustained hits 1 is quite nice, and then yeah, you're wounding Space Marines on 4, and then if any of those don't get saved, damage 2 kills them outright. So you kind of go in against like marine type stuff is pretty good against. Anti-infantry 3+ is always nice. I think there's plenty of anti-infantry in here. I think this list is pretty good. I don't think I need to, the only thing I need to actually make is a homunculus. Oh, and the grotesques, but I've got all the parts for them, so that's not too bad. In fact, actually, I already have grotesques. I could use the old ones rather than the newer ones. But yeah, I think I think a proper meta list would have like would have 3 Ravagers, and probably will have a lot of Talos in it as well. I might also need to sort the racks out. I need to check what weapons I've got, but called a Triumph. What's my game bonus? You get to choose either free charge real. Oh, that's cool. What do you use to make your avatar animated? It is a program called Veadotube Mini. VEADOTUBE space mini. It is yeah, and then it's just I drew these images. And it's literally just 2 frames. And I guess there's also a blinking frame as well, which is not too difficult to add. Cool. So it has been an hour, which is good. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, I think, and when we come back, let's try some Thousand Suns. Pretty happy with how the Drukhari went. Go back to this screen, and we can have a look. So I need to go grab a drink. They'll do some Thousand Suns. Wait, you're using an animation? I thought you just looked like that. Oh no, that's fair. Yeah, I am a 2D image in real life. Yeah, be right back. 1 second. And I'm back. I should probably also change the title if I can, because it's now Thousand Suns. Hopefully that doesn't completely balk everything. I'm failing at streaming. Send help. We can also have a quick just yeah, I just need to grab a quick drink. We need to have a quick chat as well. How's everyone going? How's everyone's day? Hope everyone is alright. Having a good time. Like I said at the start of the stream, it's very warm here, and I'm doing alright. It's just I don't do very well in the heat. I've also got the window closed, so I'm not just yelling out the window, which probably isn't helping. Slower, nice. I'm gonna get into the point stuff. Yeah, the point stuff is interesting. Clickbait your target audience with false promises of dark elves. I mean, that's the entire channel, right? It's just, I've been clickbaiting you all by saying I'm actually going to do anything. Spend more time building Necron armies than actual work. Nice. Yeah, the less work you do, the better. Hopefully 1,000 models is not true lore accurate to the army. That's true. Yeah, need a proper lore accurate battles where everyone has 1,000 1,000 units. Painting some DGs to adjust list for 10th. Get back to this project. Nice. Stomper is 800 points. Unfortunate. Like looking at the Thousand Suns, it's interesting. I haven't looked as much at Thousand Suns. This might be a bit slower. Also, I hope that when I switch screens, it works. Hey, look at that. So, yeah, Thousand Suns. Kind of initial. Hey, Grappa. Probably mispronouncing your name. Which one of those make me want to buy a Tantalus? To be fair, a Tantalus would be great. If a Tantalus with then the 10 blob with the court and the Archon, just call you Kappa. There I do. Leapers, flies, and spores. Oh my. Oh my. Yeah, so probably let's have a look at Thousand Suns. The fact that Araman on disc is only 5 points more is really weird. I would just pay the extra 5 points to put him on a disc because he gets an extra wound, but that's about it. So the exalted swords are a bit more expensive, but then they changed the power, so you're actually paying for a bit more different things there. Magnus at 410. Yeah. Neutral vortex speed 145, I think is super cheap. Rubik's at 95 points for 5. They used to be like 1 and 05 plus extra, so you usually get them up to 120. Rubrik seems super cheap. Ron has LGS working on my Chaos Demon, what I if I had tips on beating 1,000 Suns. Just have the person playing them be me, and you'll always be me. Yeah, I think 1,000 Suns, at least in 9th, there was a lot of just, you know, it's probably more likely that the 1,000 Suns player will beat themselves because it's a very difficult army to play. Yeah, Hellbrutes being the same price as the Vortex Beast is interesting to me. I'll tell you what, this is the list that I thought of immediately. Or at least the start of the list I thought of immediately was just Magnus. And then 2 MVBs as a starter for 10. What was that, 4? And then that's 290. I just think Magnus is really cool. Again, we're going to do 2 lists like we did before, where one is going to be what I want, and then the other one's going to be what I can actually play. Yeah, I feel like the Vortex Beasts are so cheap. What they do, obviously they're about the same price as they are now, but if you just look at that the actual power of them. I can scroll to right. Oh, almost perfect. Whoop. 5 up, feel no pain. 5 up, in fun. It's only a 4 save, but 10 toughness, 13 wounds. They have a good array of abilities here, a good array of different shooting options. Damage 4. You can increase the range of things, and like just being within stuff, having 2 within 6 inches of stuff just dishes out so many mortal wounds. So I feel like you take 2, maybe even 3. I heard they buff 1,000 Suns. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe. It feels like they are. It feels like they're decent. 10 Zangors for 65 points seems pretty good. I think you would take Zangors. I feel like you take Zangor Enlightened. I feel like 90 points for that is really good. It's probably just something of your rituals, so it seems to bring you. And also, I think it's a source of some extra like anti-tank. And the Sorcerer with 10 Rubiks would be good for lethal hits. 10 Terminators with Sorcerer and Terminator armor, good core, yes. 100% actually, yeah. So I think that's a guaranteed to be in there. So, SOT, 10 SOTs plus, what would you call it? Sorcerer and Terminator armor. Termisuk. I mean, it's not cheap. It's 515 points for that. But I mean, you wouldn't not. Seems like they're very combo based. Yeah, they do seem very yeah, I think what you'd have is you'd have basically each of your rubrics you'd want to specialize doing a certain thing based on the sorcerer you give it. Also, that's a bit too big there. There we go, that should fit. Right, so you'd have like whatever you want your rubrics to do, you choose as a sorcerer based around that. 10 First Marines, Captain, free Overwatch, Lieutenant with 2+ save. That'd be interesting. I haven't looked at the Space Marine stuff, but yeah, the Inferno Squad looked quite nice. And Captain for free Overwatch, that does sound good. And 7 have right under 2,500 points. Nice. I am the best VTuber. I might try and make a proper VTube like 3D one, but then I'd have to get the camera sorted, and that's a pain in the ass. 1,000 Suns really well for being a psychic arm without phase. Yeah, I think that when I was looking through it originally, I think that was one of the things that really popped out was there's still a lot of options. Then the points go, you might not need to use them. That's true. So the good thing is I do have an idea. If I do buy a second Chauncey, will we get Catgirl, Paul? I mean, how do you not know? How do you know I'm not already a Catgirl? So I actually have, even if it turns out that they aren't worth taking 2 anymore, I've got an idea of how to paint them so they make nice centerpieces. 6 out of 10 cultists is meta. How much are cultists? Where are they? 1,000 cultists. 130 points. That's fair. They're the same price as angles. That's interesting. Here's the most fixed range of rituals. 2, 3. Cultist mobs. Grab objectives. Refund that per CP. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think I've always tried to make the Music of Vortex Beast work in 9th. It never really did. This version seems super strong. Take Araman with a pack of 10 Rubus Warp Flamers. Yeah, I think because if Araman is the thing you want with Warp Flamers, right? Because it gives you the plus wound. I need to remind myself of which one each one does. I wish the vehicles weren't here. That's the thing that's the worst part. So let's just go to Araman and then never look at him again, because otherwise we have to keep scrolling up to him. So what does he do? Either way, he does the same thing. So let's just look at the disc version, because that's probably the version I would use. I don't know if I can run Chaos Contemptors with decent. I don't think you can anymore. Have you decided what army you're going to try and get fully painted up? Probably Drukhari or Thousand Subs. I haven't decided. I think one of those two. I'm going to try. I think Drukhari is the closer, but Thousand Sun seems a bit more, maybe more fun to play. So I do kind of want a bit of both. So yeah. One is leading model, you get +1 to wound, and what's about it, you can use a ritual 0 CP or 0 cabal points. So yeah, you would put this guy with Ironman on disc with +10 flame bricks. And the fact that flame bricks are the same price is super nice. So Ironman on disc is 115, 10 flame bricks is 190. 200, 305. I mean, this is already quite a pricey list. Obviously, this is kind of the dream list. This is, and I think it's a bit silly. I mean, you're already at what, 410, 500, 700, 1,000. That's already 1,520. Then the wheel has the wheel has a gun behind the camera. Yeah, I actually checked the wheel still exists, so I could use it. Thean Scrolls. I feel like Athenian Scrolls isn't a must take because there's only 1 extra Cabal point. And I feel like if you wanted extra Cabal points, you'd take a Hellbrute. You'd get a lot more value. How much are the Athenian Scrolls, to be fair? 20 points? I feel like the Umbralific Crystal is a must take. The problem is you would want to use that on the Flame Bricks, which you couldn't. The Bearer can select Ritual. I think Lord of Forbidden Law is a must. I don't think Arcane Vortex is a must unless you're taking a Demon Prince. So yeah, I think this list isn't gonna work. I think it's a bit too silly. I think having Magnus +2 MVPs is just too much because we're already at like 1,500 or something points. What I say it was. It's 500, 700, 1,000. Yeah, 1,520 points. I feel like that's already too many points. Right, so we know what Araman does. He's +1 to wound. So we don't need to scroll up past all these bloody vehicles. Chaos Spawn, yeah, whatever. Might think about it. Right, so what do all the sorcerers do? Let's remind ourselves of the sorcerers. Leading a unit gives him a 4-up invuln. And you can return models. So that would be Yeah, you take a land raider. That's true. So this one is definitely in. What's its power? It's a blast weapon, devastating wounds, d6 attacks. Okay. So, and you can get a phosphorine confesh. Would you? Maybe. So, yeah. Yeah, so from what I understand about Thousand Sons is that Araman did the bad thing and basically turned all of his all of the Thousand Sons into dust and then just fused them to the armor or something like that. We're in the desert by the Terminators. Yeah. Yeah, because Land Raiders have the ramp, don't they? Actually, going back to Drukhari, someone on Reddit, actually, the first time Reddit has made a good comment, which was that the raiders should change based on who's in it. So, like, if you embark Kabalites, like at the start of the game, if you embark Kabalites, they should get these the gun racks. If you embark Wishes, they should get the ramp, and if you embark racks, they should get Cruelty trophies. I think that's a good idea. Obviously, you can't swap them in and out throughout the game, but that would have been a smart idea. The one time Reddit has actually been good. Yeah, Magnus being able to hide is cool. Yeah, so this exalted sorcerer is gonna be good in a block of 10. So you'd want 10, just probably standard shooty rubrics with this one. When it's on disc, oh, it still gets the arcane shield, so you still get the 4+ while it's there, but you do damage instead, right? No, it's halve the move characteristic. So that one is kind of and then you got kind of a psychic torrent here. So that one's you could probably have him on his own. No, when you lead a move, yeah, he'd probably go in a group of 5. 20 rows, 9 on Metal Wands, old Araman model, 10 Termies around Muslith. Yeah. I got about that. I've got old Araman as well, actually. Kind of much on the shelf. I feel like disc sorcerer would be good with a 5 stack, just as a kind of disruption unit. Yeah, and we'll get to Hellbrutes. I think they are very good. You could argue with Forge Fiend's really good. Because after this model is shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks, and it subtracts 1. So that's pretty good. I mean, with 2 Hades autocannons, that's 12 shots. You'd probably take the 12 shots, right? Just to, I'd use that again as just a debuffing thing. Although the ectoplasm is pretty good. Yeah, I think the good thing with having him on disc is you can at least kind of circle the sorcerer around the rubric, so you don't have to move that far. Yeah, so Harry, you missed the yeah, we did Drukhari for an hour. Now we're on to Thousand Suns. Basically, we're making 2 lists. One is kind of like a dream list, this is kind of a silly list. The other one is then going to be what I would try and play. Yeah, so I think you'd have an Exalted Sorcerer with a group of 10. You'd have an Exalted Sorcerer and disc group of 5. Again, also just to help coherency, right? Then I think Thousand Suns Hellbrutes. What do they come with as standard? Multi-mount or a missile launcher? You'd probably want to give them something like a... I've got one modeled with a Power Scourge. It's not bad. Although I think you probably just want a fist. And then attach something to the fist, to be honest. So I don't have it built that way. It's an older model. But yeah, it's the fact that this is similar to the Kronos, right? When you're within 9 inches. We have enough. Yeah, and there's enough ways to get down inventory. Ectoplasm Forge Fiends for multi vehicles. Yeah, that's fair. That's actually true. Very true. Because you can take 3 of them as well, right? 3d3. The inventory named Psycho. Araman. Yeah. I think Araman is good with Term Flame Bricks. I think Las Cannon plus Hammer works as well. Infernal Master's another one. What was this? Well, it's leading units. They have sustained hits, and you can change the results of one hit, one wound, one damage, or one saving throw. And he has a pretty good power as well. 2d6 attacks. A 2d6 attack flamer, essentially. You'd want him in a group of 10 as well. Here's the Helldrake Sail Turbo. I don't think it's great. Let's have a look. It's got anti-fly, so he can rip jetpack people out of the sky, but you can give him a bit of a cover. And the Baleflame is pretty good. What's that? It's alright. Yeah, he's okay. I think he's a bit... How much is he? How much is he for a Helldrake? He's 195 points. I think that's too expensive. He's a very cool model, but I think it's just a bit too pricey. I mean, I could be very wrong. What's his toughness, actually? His toughness 9? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you'd want the Infernal Master in a group of 10. I feel like you're taking Rubiks in groups of 10 a lot more. Magnus, I think, is just absurd. Well, he's not absurd. I think he's great. He can deep strike as well. I didn't realize. The fact that he can deep strike is super cool. That's true. Yeah, lethal hits compared to what was it that he gave? Sustained hits. That's very true. Yes, so sustained hits is good for mowing down inventory. I don't think, like you say, we have plenty of ways to do that. Getting some stuff through with the lethal hits is more interesting. Although I think let me just check rubrics a second, because what's their thing? Because each time you make a critical wound, you increase the armor penetration, so you wouldn't get that if you get lethal hits. Yeah, they're all kind of still the same. The fact that you get two attacks here is super nice. You don't have to get within. You don't have to get close. You have anti-inventory from the Warp Smite, which is devastating wounds anyway. Yeah, you give him an icon of flame. And you're rerolling wound. Each time one makes brain attack, you reroll a rot one. Oh, interesting. So you might not even need Arrowman. Well, you kind of want the reroll wound anyway, but they have reroll wound of 1 built in. I feel like sustained hits might be quite good just to try and get the extra from Icon of Flame. I think you can make an argument for both. Scarab Occults. It's weird that they move the same speed, but anyway. Toughness 5. 4 up Infinite base is just super nice. And they have the thing where basically if they get -1 to wound on anything tougher than them. Come with the regular Sorcerer and Terminator army. You can get reroll 1s, targeting those high toughness. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yeah, so I think Scarab Occult Terminators, I think they play exactly the same as they always did, right? You don't get the extra shots by default anymore, which is a shame. Because obviously you used to just get 4 by standard. Sorcerer Terminators are devastating Sorcerer infusers because you deal 10 damage to Mortarion. Yeah, I think this is going to be the problem, right? Is a lot of these things are very, very good at putting out 1 damage things. I like the Hellfire Missile Rack is now flat 3. There's not a whole lot of anti-tank outside of Mort. It's not even Mortal Wounds anymore, is it? It's just Psychic. There's not even Mortal Wounds there. That's true, you can just deep strike him in close, can't you? What does a regular Sorcerer do? Regular Sorcerer gives lethal hits. What is it? I'm forgetting what the Exalted Sorcerers did. They gave the 4 up Inva, didn't they? Yeah, so Exalted Sorcerers give 4 up Inva. And the regenning one there is why you kind of want to keep that one around. And then your regular sorcerers are down here. Give you lethal hits. And when this model leading unit can only be selected to target a range attack within 18. So yeah, this is, you want him in a group of 10 as well. Yeah, that's right. Stop taking quarter or less of your list as Tzeentch demons. I haven't really looked into Tzeentch demons. That's a very good point. I know that flamers and stuff were the hot commodity, but I don't. I kind of want to go full Thousand Suns. I think it's flame. I think I might explore them later. So yeah, that's lethal hits. What's their power? It's just oh yeah, sustain hits 3. This one was really good. Again, shorter range. The problem is this one's a short range. You want to stay outside of 18 inches, but you want to get it within to do the but it's 2d6 and it's sustain hits 3. But again, it's a lot of stuff against infantry. And he gives lethal hits as well. And at one enemy unit visible, you reroll hit rolls of 1, so he's very good. Anti-monster, anti-vehicle. That's pretty good as well. Yeah, I think he's pretty decent. What about Demon Prince? Yeah, Demon Prince was the other one. So, you know what's weird? First, I haven't really looked at points in a while. Let me have a look. So, a Sorcerer is 85. Terminator Sorcerer is 105. So, yeah, you're not really paying much of a premium for that, are you? Inferno Master's 75. Inferno Master's the cheapest, which feels weird. Yeah, this is the thing. Thousand Sun's Demon Prince is 210. And a Thousand Sun's Demon Prince with wings is 190. Yeah, in 9th, I'd never had that much success with him. He did okay, but he cost a lot for what he did. So yeah, this Demon Prince here, without the wings, is 210. And with the wings, it's 190. Which is kind of nuts. Right? What is that? At the start of phase, that one friendly rubric or terminator, and they get precision, which is quite cool. And they have stealth if you're within. So they kind of, the one without wings is essentially like a bubble of don't hurt me. I guess you lose a toughness actually. That's interesting. And then with wings, you get to do eviscerating flyby essentially, or you can jump away. I think Vortex being an extra party for could be reflective work against vehicles and monsters. Yeah, I think so. Saturday Sisters can't go. So you guess it's like, yeah, I never played against Sisters, so I'm kind of glad I didn't. Oh yeah, I got the launch box. So yeah, nice you got the launch box as well with your new partner. War Princes support Fly Princes all kill mode, yeah, pretty much. Vortex Beast Hellbreed definitely anti-vehicle. Enough ways to hose down infantry. Yeah. It's definitely, I think that's it. I think you can't really go wrong with a sorcerer and one of the sorcerers plus a brick of 10. I think are going to be super nice. The struggle is going to be where you get your anti-tank. Mutilith Vortex Beast is one part of that. 18 strength, which is... Well, they're saying that, actually. 18 strength. It's high, but then a lot of things are toughness 10. Including Mutilith Vortex Beast. So, you're not wounding anything on 5s. Or 4s, really. Everything's going to be wounding on 3 or less. So I guess that's pretty good. But it's D6 plus 6 damage. It is only one shot, which is a shame, which is why you probably want 2. Just for the redundancy. Yeah, you're going to need that strength just punch for most things. And then, I mean, that's still pretty good. D6 for 3 shots, strength 9. And then you got this I think this is super strong though. Each enemy within 6 inches takes 1d3 or d6 mortal wounds, which is pretty crazy. And his claws are damage 4. Then Magnus can pump out a bunch of hurt as well. 3d3. It's only strength 9, but it is devastating wounds. And same here as well, strength 16. And while friendly psyche units make a psych attack, I'd want to hit 1 to the wound, and then you can make the gun psychic. It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. I want to actually look at some of this stuff again to remind myself, because you can do the is it? Yeah, it's Ensorcelled Infusion, which is the one that turns your guns into strength 5. Oh, this is something to remember, actually. Yeah, this is a very good point. Lethal hits can be done here, as well as devastating wounds. So there's ways to get through kind of some of the tougher stuff with a lot of psychic and Source of Fusion stuff. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting combos here. Like, you can kind of really buff stuff up. And then up here, you've got movement shenanigans. Yeah, you can select the Psyker as target for a stratagem for 0 speed, even if, so you can actually get 2. Lots of Ensorcelled Infusion out of it, which I think is insane. Doombolt's pretty good as well. D3 mortal wounds minimum, or 4 or 7. And Twist of Fate can just delete the, for the few things that only have an armor save, just deleting the armor save. So that's the other way to get through vehicles, right? You just delete their armor and assume they don't have an invuln. They're kind of stuffed, even if you just plonk them with 1 damage weapons. And if you get like devastating wounds in there or lethal hits, it's probably actually even better. So a combo of, Twist of Fate, lethal hits. Do not ignore, what was it? Lone Operative. That's interesting. Sorry, I've not been looking at chat because I've just been going off on one. Yeah, not a lot of strength. There's not much strength anymore. We both got an army. Do you have any advice for army building in general? Not. I don't have much of a Yeah, I don't have much like advice. A lot of it is just kind of playing what you want. Normally, you kind of just want a balance, right? You want to have each of the things in each of the parts of your army needs to have like a certain have a certain purpose, right? That's kind of how I think of it. So when I was making the Drukhari list, I was like, okay, what's going to be fighting? What are these things going to be doing in the game? And the other part of it is just like, what do you think is cool? So like Hellions, I think are really cool. Yeah, Twist of Fate on Land Raider and stuff. We're just talking about we're just talking about this stuff here, the Kindred Sorcerer. You can probably get some good combos here. Delete the armor save, lethal hits. Yeah, you're doing quite a lot of good stuff there. Yeah, Rule of Cool is probably the best, especially if you're starting out, Borgar. Just Rule of Cool. Whatever you think is cool, chuck it in there. Whatever if it sounds cool, give it a go. Warp Sight is, what was Warp Sight? It's 2 CP. You make an attack with Psycho Weapon that targets enemy unit. Indirect fire and ignores cover. Oh yeah, that's right. You kind of see through, which is kind of cool. You can add 9 inches to the range of psychic weapons. Which means you can add 9 inches to the range of that weapon, which was like 18 inches, right? So the one on the Sorcerer. If this stops breaking. Hello? You're down here, aren't you? So yeah, you can add 9 inches to this to make this 21 inches. So you're still outside the range of 18, so you could actually get this Fires of Abyss thing off without getting into danger. I think Wraith Knight is cool, but I want friends. The Wraith Knight looks great. I think a lot of people are saying the Wraith Knight looks very, very good. Yeah, give it a go. See what you come up with. I am very much just like Thousand Suns. I feel like you almost can't go wrong. I feel like I feel like you can't go wrong. I feel like with yeah, no worries, corrosion. And hey, Igiaeus, I probably butchered that name. I don't think you can go wrong with list building with Thousand Suns. I think where you can go wrong is with playing them. I think there's a lot of combos here that you got to be really wary of, like now. Zangor Enlightened, I think, are quite good. Like, you give him the Fate Caster crossbows. Lethal hits and precision. These guys can do pretty good sniping. They can move away if people get close. And then with the Zangor Shaman, you get a 5-up, feel no pain, which is probably needed. And you add 1 to the hit roll. So I feel like there's a combo there. At the moment, I'm not really... I think the list at the moment is kind of just a bit nothing. I think maybe we need to think about it. I think maybe we should make a list. Let's make a list that I can actually make. So we can't have Magnus, we only have 1 MVP. So that's 145, isn't it? Yes, it's fine. Yeah, I think making a dream list is kind of moot because I think you've got so much stuff going on. I think... Now, I need to check how many rubrics I actually have, because I know I don't have that many. So I have enough. I definitely think you want your 10... You want 10 routes with all the trimmings. Yeah, we can basically have, like, what would we take with Magnus or what would we not take with Magnus. So I think you do something like this, and then... I don't have this many rubrics, but... Infernal. How much are all of these, just to kind of calculate them? Rubrics being 95 feels wrong. So I guess it's 190. 190 plus... 85... 190 plus 85 is 275. A Exalted is 5 extra points, and this one is 10 less points. So that's kind of potential there. You could also reduce these to 5. I don't know which... I'm saying the dream list is moot because it's kind of the difference between this and the Drukhari one is I feel like I have everything that I'd want to play. And because there's so many options with Thousand Suns, I kind of want to try and make a list that I could play based on what I have. Yeah, with Drukhari it's a lot simpler. With this, there's so many options. I feel like you can't go wrong. I have I think 30 rubrics. I don't know if they're all made, but I have that many. How do detachments work? I think it's just a case of like you pick the detachment type you have, and then you just as long as you follow the rules of like you can only have 3 max of 3. So it's essentially. Let me try this one. These are lethal hits. This one was Ruffle Finbun and regen. What was the Infernal Master? He was something else. He is sustained hits. So yeah, Theory Hammer is a lot of fun. I think if there's like chances to kind of look and say like, oh, would like this would be like the 2 MVB things. I think is kind of the dream list, but yeah, this is difficult. I'm just trying to think. So that's 2. The other thing actually to think about here is sorcerers are 1,000 Sun Sorcerer is 1 Cabal point. This is the other problem, right? An Exalted Sorcerer is 2 Cabal points, that's the Infernal Master, but a regular Sorcerer is only 1. you have any Zangors for any of them? I have, I think I have 20 Zangors. That was actually something I was thinking about, right? Like, what are Zangors doing? They do quite a lot of stuff with CP, right? Or basic Cabal points again, aren't they? The end of command phase, roll 1d6 for each objective mark you control. Has one or more units with this ability. And for each 4+ you get Cabal points. That's not great. They are cheap. And you stick these on the back. I think with the Rubrics, you want to be moving them around, so I feel like you could stick these guys at the back. They also give lethal hit. Yeah, this is the tricky one, I think. This is the tricky one. Oh yeah, you can take 6. Yeah, 6 take. Oh. They have to be specifically dedicated transports, because some transports aren't dedicated transports. I think you would want a Hellbrute. I think generating the Cabal points is super good. That's true, actually. Yeah, you actually want to be splitting these out, don't you? So I think you probably want. I feel like you want the group. You want a group of 10. Maybe you just actually yeah. Maybe you just do 5, 5, 5. Because then you could have more, right? You could have 10. You'd have another 5 with something. How did that become 380? That should be 280. For something else. Because then you have a lot more rubrics for generating stuff. I'm going to put cultists. Well, what you doing, cultists? How you helping? Each time this unit destroys an enemy, you get a CP, and when it's destroyed, you get a CP. Yeah, so that's good CP. Yeah, lethal hits here. The thing is, you got to remember is you can get lethal hits with CP. I guess you don't want to spend it, right? So you could probably do that. And these would be 95 points less, essentially. It's impossible to work out. Let's just do it from the start. 95 plus 105 is a lot easier to. I know. Exotic is already 90. I'm an idiot. So that's 185 in it. Oh shit. And then Inferno Masters is 75. That's only 170. So it's a bit cheaper there. Do you have more than one Hellbrute? I unfortunately don't. I feel like you'd add the Hellbrute in. Like with the MVP, I think they're just too strong for what you need to do. I feel like how many points you got? 3, 4. Only 1? No, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the moment, I've got 10 points here. So maybe you do lethal hits. I don't have this many. I haven't this many Terminators. You may want to do that. That's just too expensive. Ugh. Right, how many points we got so far? 290. Oh, calculating me. I'm too stupid. Yeah, so I've got 260 points to play with. Which you could throw some cultists in. I kind of feel like... What? You get hit mutating? Orb. 10, 10 with Exalted. Yeah, that's true. Your Terminators have lethal hits already, right? So they're kind of covering that for you. The thing that's confusing me with this is like you can use these here, but then you've got the ability to turn this stuff into other things. Obviously, it costs CP, so you want to generate CP with stuff like cultists. Yeah, Grey Knights are very much teleporting you around. Cool. I think Zangle's for ball control. Yeah, I think 10 Zangles somewhere with a Zangle Shaman. Right, I'm facing on Sunday because he's found a way to make Araman immortal. Interesting. So Zangle Shaman gives them a feel no pain of 5, +1 to hit, has an okay weapon or okay spell, and he has. So I think you'd probably go Shaman +10 Zangles. I think that's pretty cheap as well. 6, yeah, that's only 125 points. That's pretty good for just kind of sitting on an objective. Because the Zangle blades are actually quite strong. You know, two attacks each, but they'd be hitting on 3s, +1. Strength 5, so they're pretty cool. I think. I feel like Zangle Enlightened are really cool as well. I kind of want to try them, but I don't have any. I do have a Demon Prince. Don't know if I'd want to try that. Because that's +100, another 125. 145 points left. Oh, hang on. Oh, what's the one thing we haven't done? We haven't done any of these things here. Oops. Resizing stuff. That's gonna be fun. What would you want? True, Terminator's are pretty good in melee as well, actually. I feel like the Shaman provides, because the Shaman provides an extra Cabal point and the Feel No Pain. I mean, I could drop him. He's only 60 points, so I mean, he's not that bad. But he's a spell to use a stratagem which costs no. And something makes him not take damage from failed saves. There is something that lets him. Yeah, so it's change the damage characteristic of that attack. So it's only one attack. So yeah, he has a thing. Once per battle, he can use a ritual for 0 Cabal points, which he can use echoes from the warp to do a stratagem for 0 points. To use Destined to Fate to turn a thing into 0 points, but it's only once. Yeah, that's the other thing to consider with Araman, is that he brings that, because that's still, I think, pretty strong, even if it is once per turn. So I think, yeah, actually, now that we've kind of gone through this, Athenian Scrolls is looking more and more powerful. An extra Cabal point is really good. Where would it go? I don't know. Yeah, maybe you swap these two around. Oh god, so that would be 180, and then the other one would be 280. Yeah, double Doom bolts and stuff. The bearer can use. I think you need Lord of Forbidden Law as well. I guess on the Terminator Sork. And then the Athenian Scrolls on this one. Which is then plus 20 points here. That's nice, around 300. And Law of Forbidden Law is 25. That becomes a nice clean 540. So what we've added another 45 points there, haven't we? And that leaves you with 90 points, which is Thangory Enlightened. Another Exalted Sorcerer. Which doesn't do much. Like, just Exalted Sorcerer on their own. To hide and generate Cabal points doesn't feel right. Yeah, the other option is you drop 60 points, you have 150 if you drop the Shaman. 150 gets you a Hellbrute. Ah, we've done it again. Cultists, how much cultists? 130. So you can get a group of cultists and maybe then do like an Umbralific Crystal. Yeah, he can't do it multiple times because he doesn't have yeah, you can't use the same ritual twice unless you do a thing. So yeah, it's a bit safer than that. Aren't class kind of classic Exterminatus. Yeah, I've looked a bit at Sisters, they look alright as well. Yeah, there's a few ways to go about this. You could drop. I don't really want to drop that to 5. You could probably drop one of these two. I don't know, maybe not. Oh, it's tricky. Very tricky. There's just a lot of good options. Right, I think. That being said, what am I debating? It was basically what to do with 90 points because everything kind of is a bit weird price wise. Like Cultists are 65, so you could do 65 plus the Prolific Crystal or stuff like that. So, or Zangor Enlightened. Bear in mind, at some point in here, you might want to try and fit a Magnus, so you'd have to drop something, but I think they made a good effort. More than Val also went down in price, didn't they? Anyway, I will switch back to here. I think we've had a pretty good session, but I am getting a little bit tired. It's quite warm in here. My throat is starting to go, so I'm probably going to call it now. But thank you very much for joining, everyone. Hope you had a good time. If you aren't already subscribed, please do so. How's list building is pretty good. Drukhari was a lot easier than Thousand Suns. Join the Discord if you haven't already. Subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time, and or on the Discord or whatever. So, yeah. Thanks everyone. See you next time.